Hey, what's up, Triple P Nation? This week's episode is brought to you by Triple P Life Nutrition, helping you optimize your health and performance.
Welcome
to the age of awakening.
Please identify yourself. Enter.
Triple P Nation, welcome back to the podcast, where this week we're going to explore the tools, tactics, and strategies to help you achieve personal and business mastery. And this week we're going to focus on the business. In fact, the next 3 weeks we're going to focus on business. So whether you are an entrepreneur, an aspiring entrepreneur, someone who's considering getting into the business world, this is going to be a show for you. And you're going to want to share it with friends and family, because we're going to deal with the main issues currently facing small business entrepreneurs. In other words, the biggest challenges right now that's preventing you, or may prevent you, or could prevent you from being really, really successful. So I'm going to touch on the 10 most common, but I'm going to break it down. I'm going to hit 2 each of the next 3 weeks, the 6 that I really feel are the most important. And we'll address those. We'll deal with those one after another. And I'll give you some real solutions, because I want you to be successful. I want you to be able to live your Triple P life, which is about empowering your dreams, igniting your passion, and accelerating prosperity in each area of your life. And again, this is really about the business side, the entrepreneurial side. And I know so many of our great listeners out there are entrepreneurs. You resonate what I have to say as it relates to, I always talk about how growing people grow businesses. And so we need to be on top of the changes in the environment, in the culture, in the economic situation within our country, because entrepreneurs need to be flexible. They need to be able to pivot quickly. They need to be able to see what's coming ahead before it actually happens. We need to be able to anticipate the future. We've got to have these skill sets, these superpowers that allows us to traverse through the minefields of being a small business entrepreneur, because guys, it can be really, really challenging. And I want you to be as successful as you possibly can. This is what I love doing. It's what I love teaching and helping our clients, and seeing them be successful and double their revenue and expand their businesses, grow and open new businesses. And again, this is what we want to see you guys do. Now, before we get into this week's content, I want to thank all the new listeners who are jumping on. Appreciate you guys. And if you can, please go to your favorite podcast app, give us a 5-star review, write us a review if you can, a rating. Let us know, what you think about the show. Love to hear from you. Hit rate, like, follow, of course, on YouTube, subscribe, all those things that every other podcast asks you to do. And it's just really important that we make this community and grow it as big as we possibly can. It's because it continues to expand. And I really do appreciate that. Now, we always start out each episode with this week's version of Success Snack. And this week's is about big people make other people feel even bigger. I've always taken the mindset in life is I want to leave every touch of every person I'm going to come in contact with. I want to leave that person better off than they were before I was able to engage them. Now, whether that's just a kind word, a simple gesture, a hi, a smile, or some words of encouragement, or maybe something inspiring that I had read, that's my entire goal, is to uplift other people, to make them feel better about themselves. Because when we do, right, we're building humanity, and we're not only building them, but literally we're building us as well too. Because when people witness kind acts, right, when they witness acts of selflessness, it really, within them, it evokes a level of positivism, and they kind of emit emotions like gratitude and admiration and worth. And don't we need more of that in the world, guys? I think we do, right? So one of the other things I like to do is put their needs ahead of mine. Of course, my clients, of course, but that's easy to say because they're paying you. But really, anybody that you come in contact with, can you put their needs ahead of yours? Not at your own detriment, right? I'm not asking you to put yourself out there that it's harming you in any way, shape, or form, but can you look at someone in front of you and say, how can I serve you? How can I make your life better? Is there any way, from my knowledge and experience, that may help you on your journey? And it really is when we experience these altruistic behaviors from somebody who's truly being genuine and authentic, man, it's amazing how we grow and how they grow. So help other people think and act bigger by being bigger yourself. All right. So I said that this week we are talking about some of the biggest challenges facing us small business entrepreneurs. And before I get into the 10 most common here right now, excited to announce we just soft launched my 19th business. That's either startups or acquisitions that I've made over the last 34 years. And each one is a challenge. Each one is exciting. But I have to say, I think this one I'm most excited about, not because it's the newest, just because I think it really is the cutting edge in today's healthcare, where we're integrating the best of natural health and the best of medicine to bring it to the consumer that is comprehensive in looking at each individual uniquely to really determine what is ideal for their health, their genes, and for their goals in their life. And approaching health from this aspect puts all the power, puts all the decision-making in the consumer's hands, not in the hands of the insurance company, not in the hands of a doctor. It's all about you. And so we'll be doing membership primary care. We'll be doing functional medicine and nutritional optimization and wellness, also including cutting edge in weight loss and hormone optimization. So very, very excited. The name of the business is Revitalizing Health and Hormones. Yes, of course, it's here in the upper Midwest for now. We've got big plans to grow and expand this brand way beyond just in a local community. But yeah, very excited about it. If you're in the area, stop by, come say hello. We're in Altoona. Reach out to us. Check out our website, revitalizinghealthandhormones.com. And come check it out. So I think I have some unique insights when it comes to starting small businesses. Of course, I coach small businesses from a variety of industries. Been doing it for 15 years. So hundreds of entrepreneurs I've coached one-on-one. And so some of this is unique to today's financial environment. Some of it that I'm going to share with you is, just some of the hurdles that we face as small business entrepreneurs. So let me go through the 10, and then I'm going to touch each and every one of them briefly. And then I'm going to highlight 2 of them for you to discuss a little bit more in depth. So they are limited financial resources, right? Market competition, resource constraints, regulatory burdens, talent acquisition and retention. This would be on the employee side, technology and adaptation and integration, marketing and branding, cash flow, of course, got to have some money, customer acquisition and retention, of course, adaptability and resiliency, right? I mentioned that kind of in the opening of the show, is that entrepreneurs need to be gritty and resilient and adaptable and flexible because the ever-changing business climate and market. So I'm going to touch on each one of these. I mentioned limited financial resources. I'm going to skip this one and market competition because I'm going to go in both of those in depth here in just a minute. So let me start with number 3, resource constraints. So Jay, what is resource constraints? Well, as a small business, typically, right, we have less people, less employees, right? Maybe limited on our technology resources compared to larger companies. And of course, this can be an obstacle to productivity or innovation or ability to scale. Really, this makes it difficult to compete effectively and meet customer demands currently and in the future. This is another one I'll touch in depth on future shows. Number 4 is regulatory burdens. Right? If you've been in business for longer than 10 minutes, you know that as soon as you fill out your corporate election right away, you've got to get your EIN, you got to register with the state, you got to get a sales permit, and it just goes on and on and on and on. So small businesses really got to navigate a complex web of regulations and compliance requirements, and especially if this is the first business you're ever opening. Man, it's so eye-opening, all these things that you never thought you would ever catch yourself doing or even knew you needed to do. So we have to keep up with the legal obligations and regulatory changes that come over time that consumes and costs us a lot of money. This is why you need to be involved politically on the local level so you can be aware of any regulatory changes that could be coming that might affect your business. Now, the next one is talent acquisition and retention. I also will cover this one in more in-depth detail because it's important. This is about recruiting and finding great skilled employees, right? This is no question the major challenges that small businesses experience, especially in industries that face talent shortages. Now, that may be because of limited budgets, and it may make it difficult to offer competitive salaries compared to the behemoths, right? Benefits that may attract the top talent. Now, one of the myths I hear all the time, Jay, there's just not a lot of great talent out there. And I just do not believe it. You just have to look and dig deeper. And I believe just like success, good talent comes to you, comes from you, not to you. In other words, that means by your vision, by your mission, by your why, by your values, by who you are, your energy, people naturally start to flow to you and want to be a part of what you're building. I've experienced that for over 30 years. I know it to be a truism. Can I empirically show you that that's the case? Well, more anecdotally than empirically, but I'm telling you that's the case. Okay, so number 6 being technology adoption and integration. So we need to embrace new technologies and digital tools that is essential for us to remain competitive and efficient. Especially looking at the AI market, guys. We are implementing AI into our business, little steps here and there, but without question, we're implementing it and utilizing it in a beneficial way. Now, I'm not one of those, who is concerned about AI is going to take over the world and kill all the humans. I'll leave that up to other conspiratorial people. But I had a guest on a few months ago, talked about AI. You might want to go back and check that. He was great. In fact, it was one of our most listened to shows this year. He just really blew people away about his understanding in the field of AI and how it's going to revolutionize industry and businesses in the future here. So the next being marketing and branding. As a startup, my next startup, right? We spent a lot of time on marketing and branding and promotion. I see a lot of entrepreneurs spend a lot of time, money, and energy in getting their business off the ground, but have little to no money to market, to get their message out to their communities, to their industry, to their most ideal clients. So this is something we will talk more in depth on the 3rd episode. And number 8 being cash flow management. Often when I work with new clients, I get their P&Ls, I look at their cash flow, and they don't even know their numbers. And I got to tell you and emphasize really importantly, to be an effective entrepreneur, you have got to know your numbers. You got to know your cost per lead, your cost per client. You got to know what your sales ratio is. You got to know what your margins are. You got to know what your cost of goods are, your cost of employees are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't know this, you can't manage it, you can't control it, and you certainly can't change it and look for trends where it may be getting out of control. Because you can never grow your business to success by cutting expenses, right? I say, well, I'm going to cut this, cut that. Listen, you've heard me talk about the 4 major expenses. And one of them being is your ability to reinvest in your business. Hiring a great employee is an investment. It's not an expense because they're going to help you grow, expand your business, make more money. Adding some technology that's relevant to your business that can make you more efficient is an investment, which makes you more productive and be able to expand and grow your business. So you cannot cut your way to growth. Now, do we need to mind our expenses? Without question. Do we need to watch trends and get rid of the discretionary useless expenses? No question. The next one being customer acquisition and retention, right? Business, the lifeblood of a new business or any business is customers. If you don't have enough customers, good luck. You're in trouble. And then I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs like, I need new customers. I need new customers. What should I do? What marketing strategies? Blah, 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 blah. And I'll ask them what about your current customers? And they have no strategies to retain their existing clients. And for a small business, it's a lot easier to keep what you have than constantly going out searching for new. So I look at it from both aspects. Yes, we need new blood. We need to be constantly acquiring and creating new leads, but we also need to be working just as hard to retain the ones that are already doing business in our business. And the last one being adaptability and resilience. You see, as a small business owner, you got to be really agile and resilient to be able to navigate the markets and to deal with the changes, the economic fluctuations, and any unforeseen changes, any challenges coming down the road. You got to be flexible, you got to be innovative, and your willingness to adapt to evolving circumstances are essential for your survival, and in particular, essential for your success. That reminds me back COVID during 2020. World shut down, business closed. It was a shit show, to say the least. And I had clients calling, panicking. What am I going to do? I don't know if I'll be able to keep my doors open. I don't know if I have enough money to pay my employees, to pay the mortgage. I mean, real issues, right? And I said, okay, in a changing marketplace, we need to look at how can we adapt and innovate to deliver value to our clients differently than we were doing previously. And we came up with strategies. And those who were willing to adapt and innovate not only survived, but thrived. And once the world began to open up, they exploded. Why? Because they created such loyalty to their customers, to their clients, to their patients, because they were willing to be there for them. They were willing to figure out a way to provide for them and still create value. They built lifetime customers, and they became raving fans for those businesses. And again, once the world opened back up, they became flooded with new clients, new businesses, and their businesses just took off. This is really key. I can't emphasize this enough. And you know what? There's going to be more crap that's going to come down the line. I don't know if it's going to be a pandemic or, it could be, God forbid, a terrorist attack. Who knows? Who knows? You just don't know. So you've got to have it in your mind to be adaptable, flexible, innovative, and willing to change on a moment's notice. I want to share what motivated me to do this episode as I was listening to an interview with one of the Fed chairmen, and they were talking about inflation. And it was asked, do you see any the Fed cutting rates anytime this year? It was hinted that maybe by summer, by July, they would cut the discount rate by a quarter point and maybe additional couple rate cuts going into the year. Therefore, that would be passed on to the consumer, and banks and lending rates would be reduced, opening up the markets for purchasing homes and getting capital to start businesses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And basically he said, no, we don't. And they asked him why. He said, because inflation's still much hotter than we anticipated. So when the clowns in Washington tell you that the inflation is under control, they're lying to you intentionally, or just so damn stupid they don't even understand economics. I just think it's the latter, not the former, because they think you're stupid. But here's the thing about inflation, guys. The inflation that occurred the last 2 years is already built into prices. It hasn't gone down. So the inflation that's coming, that we're experiencing now, that's hotter than they anticipated, is only adding to the cost of goods and services already than what it's already increased. You understand what that means? So inflation is not 3.5%, right? Take the 7%, take the 8%, now the 3%. Goods and services, go to the grocery store, 18 to 25% higher. Everyone's feeling it. Everyone knows it. What does that mean for you as a small business entrepreneur? It means there's less discretionary income for people to spend in your business. So whether you own a restaurant, or whether you have a dental clinic, or you have a specialty boutique shop, inflation is a hidden tax because it robs you of purchasing power, and it robs you of the discretionary income necessary to go do things you want to do. And it was interesting this year as my wife and I was traveling, we actually noticed at resorts that they weren't as busy as they had been the year or two prior. And we spoke to the management and staff, and they said, yeah, numbers are down. So people are feeling it, and they're pulling back. And they pull back on, the pleasurables, taking vacations, buying the extra car, maybe buying a boat, whatever the case may be, right? They tighten it, tighten the bootstraps. So I wanted to give you every ability to understand what the market forces are, why we are where we're at, and to give you the tools to protect yourself and know what you need to do going forward in the next 12 to 18 months, because it's not going to change anytime soon. So number one, I want to get into depth here is I want to go over to the 10 steps to increase your financial resources. This was number one on the list that I skipped over. Okay, so we're going to start first with what's called bootstrapping. Now, bootstrapping involves funding your business using your own money, like we did to start this new business, right? You can use credit cards, but please don't use credit cards. That's absurd, absurd, especially if you can't afford to pay them back immediately, right? So this is where you're funding. This allows you, the entrepreneur, though, to maintain full control of your business because you're not taking on debt or you're not giving up equity for coming from investors. So that's bootstrapping. Number two is what we call small business grants. Now, these are government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and private foundations that offer grants for small businesses in a variety of industries and sectors. Now, you, the entrepreneur, can search available grant opportunities and apply for funding to help you cover startup costs, expansive initiatives, or even specific projects. I was talking to a small business entrepreneur just the other day. He runs a barber shop, and his small little town had a $500 grant for his signage. Now, it didn't pay for the entire sign, but it, certainly paid a portion of it, and he was more than happy to take the money. So look and see if there are any grants available for you as a startup or even an existing business if you're looking to expand and grow. Number three, of course, is business loans. So while securing traditional bank loans really is very challenging right now for you, the small business owner, alternative lending options such as online lenders, community development financial institutions, and micro lenders can offer more flexible terms and even eligibility criteria. So as entrepreneurs, you can explore different loan options to finding financing that meets your needs. But the key here is right now, it's tough to get money, particularly from banks. They're just not lending it out as freely. And of course, the cost is significantly higher. All right, number four, for those you maybe have never heard of this before, is angel investing or venture capitalist. So I've done angel investing before, and this is where somebody has a product or an idea that you think that's going to work out really well, and they look for angel investors to put money up that helps them, maybe develop prototypes or to test market or whatever the case may be. And so I've done that before. And angel investors and venture capitalists provide, as I mentioned, the funding in exchange for equity ownership. So they get a piece of the business. Entrepreneurs can pitch their business ideas to investors and seek funding to fuel the growth or expansion. But however, it's essential to conduct thorough due diligence and to negotiate favorable terms to protect the interest of the business. So that's angel investors and venture capitalists. Number five is crowdfunding. Crowdfunding platforms allows you, the entrepreneur, to raise capital from a large number of individuals. This is typically through online campaigns by offering rewards, even equity, or debt securities. Entrepreneurs can attract investors, customers, and supporters who believe in their vision are willing to contribute funds to help bring their vision to life. So that's crowdfunding. Number six is strategic partnerships and joint ventures. This is collaborating with other businesses. This could be industry partners or investors who could provide access to additional resources, expertise, and funding opportunities. Entrepreneurs, you can explore strategic partnerships, joint ventures, or co-development agreements to leverage complementary strengths and mutual interests. This is where we're helping both businesses grow together. We partner as a collaborative interests. Number seven is revenue diversification. Now, this is generating multiple streams of revenue that can help you, the small business owner, reduce reliance on an external financing and improve your financial stability. So, entrepreneurs, you can explore new products or services or markets to expand your customer base and increase your sales revenue. This is one of the ways I like to help my clients is to explore this through new products and services that they never thought possible. I've always said entrepreneurs need to look to reinvent their business every 5 to 7 years, or their business becomes stagnant and it just gets lost in the marketplace of noise. And the way you do that is not just physically, but you do that by adding new products and services that are in alignment with a business purpose, philosophy, and mission that will expand into different customer market fields so you can increase your value that you provide and, of course, ultimately your sales. And then number 8 is grants and incentives. So this is a little bit different than before. This is government agencies and industry associations and economic development organizations that offer grants, subsidies, and tax incentives to support you in specific geographic regions or sectors. Now, entrepreneurs, you can research available programs and take advantage of financial assistance and incentives to offset startup costs or invest in growth initiatives. 9 is cost reduction strategies. This is implementing cost-saving measures such as negotiating better terms with your suppliers, reducing your overhead expenses, and optimizing your operational processes that can free up capital and improve cash flow. So entrepreneurs, you should regularly review your business expenses and identify opportunities to streamline operations and increase efficiency. The key here is efficiency. Again, you can never cut your way to growth. And finally, 10 is financial planning and management. You should develop a comprehensive business plan. You got to have a budget. You need financial projection to help you manage the finances effectively and make informed decisions about resource allocation, investment priorities, and growth strategies. You should seek advice from financial advisors, mentors, coaches, and even small business organizations that can provide valuable guidance and support in managing limited financial resources. So again, as a small business entrepreneur, you should have a network of other business people who you can bounce ideas off. You can share ideas. You can expand your network and your knowledge in this field and in this marketplace. So really important tool that I've learned so much from other really smart entrepreneurs who are doing stuff, way more efficient or had ideas that I had never even dreamed of or heard of that really revolutionized my own business. So don't miss this aspect, the financial planning and management part. So by exploring each of these solutions, guys, and leveraging available resources and support networks, your small business as an entrepreneur can overcome financial constraints and position your business for long-term success and sustainability. Now, the second one I want to cover today is market competition. Now, this is a challenge for small business entrepreneurs, right? This is competing with the big boys, right? The larger corporations with established brands and marketing budgets, that from a revenue standpoint, spend more than you'll probably ever make in 30 years in your business in a single year. It's just crazy. Because of the limiting marketing budget you might have, right? Your brand recognition is challenging. It's challenging to attract new customers and carve out your niche in a competitive marketplace. So I want to talk about 10 ways for you to become more competitive. First, I want you to think about specialization in niche markets. You see, your small business can target specific niche markets or customer segments that may be underserved or they've been overlooked by larger corporations. By offering specialized products and services or expertise tailored to the needs of a particular audience, small businesses can differentiate themselves significantly and therefore attract very loyal customers. The second one being personalized customer experience. Big one, guys. You as a small business owner have the advantage of building a personalized relationship with customers and providing a personalized service that larger corporations will never, ever be able to replicate. I was just in our F45 studio this morning and a new gentleman came in. He was in his late 50s, never worked out before. I worked out with him, spent the time, got to know him, worked out. We had fun. And I said to him afterwards, I said, "How was your experience?" He said, "It was really good." He goes, I'm a biker. I like to bicycle, but I need to get into doing some resistance training. My son is the athletic coach for a major college hockey program. He said, "Dad, you need to start taking care of your body and get stronger and maintain flexibility as you age." I said, "What did you think of the experience?" He says, "Absolutely loved it." He goes, "I know I'm going to be sore as hell tomorrow." I said, "Great." I said, "Anything else to make an exception?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "You." And I said, "Wow, well, that was very nice." He goes, that you took the time to talk to me, find out what my needs are. You worked out with me, made sure that I knew what I was doing, correct me when I wasn't doing what I was doing right, showed me where to go. He goes, that made it a lot of fun. Now, I did that because just like from the success snack today, right? I love to do that. And he was a super nice guy, and I wanted to see him have success and, kind of in the same boat. But imagine, right? You personalize that customer experience with everyone in your business like that, how you just create those just loyal raving fans. And that's what we want to do. Okay, 3 is agility and flexibility, kind of very similar to the last segment we were talking about. As a small business, right, you can adapt more quickly to changing market conditions and consumer trends. And then you can be competitive to threats that may exist in the marketplace, more so than larger corporations who got to go through boards and management and whatever. So by staying agile and responsive and proactive, you can seize opportunities and then pivot when necessary and outmaneuver larger competitors. So you get a real advantage there. Number 4 is innovation and creativity. Again, as a small business owner, you foster a culture of innovation and creativity and entrepreneurial spirit that allows you to develop unique products and services or business models. And you can do it very quickly by continuously innovating and differentiating yourself from your competitors. By the way, never compare yourself to your competitors. That's what losers do. Winners compare themselves to themselves, but making sure what they do each and every day is better than what they did the day before. Making sure they're putting the best product, the best experience, the best value, and the best employee to serve your customers out there. And I've often said, the way you treat your employees is the way your employees treat your customers. So keep that in mind. Number 4 is local and community focus. Again, as a small business, you're able to leverage your ties to the local community and to establish a strong presence in their geographic area. So by participating in community events and supporting local causes, you're starting to build relationships with customers. You're networking. Your small business then cultivates a really loyal customer base. And then it differentiates itself from those larger corporations that perceive to be less connected to the community, which they really are. Now, 5 is strategic partnerships and collaborations. Again, as a small business, you can connect with other businesses, other industry partners, and then you can leverage complementary strengths and services and resources. And by forming these strategic partnerships, creating joint ventures or alliances, your small business can access new markets and expand your reach and compete more effectively with the big boys. Number 6 is employee engagement and talent development. So small businesses really can create a supportive work environment. You can offer opportunities for growth, opportunities for advancement. You can empower your employees to contribute to ideas and initiatives. It really becomes very, very intimate experience. It becomes really like your work family. I mean, truly like your work family, where you're vested in each other's success. And by investing in your employees, investing in their training, investing in their development and engagement, you can attract and retain top talent. Again, many of my small businesses, I had employees who were just rock stars. And I knew they could have gone someplace else and made more per hour than they were making where they were working with me, but they couldn't imagine leaving the culture. They couldn't imagine not being a part of the vision of what we had in place. And they were paid well, right? But I can't compete in a chiropractic office with a medical clinic. I can't pay $35 an hour and, ungodly benefits. We don't create that kind of revenue. But to them, it was the mission, it was the team, it was the engagement, it was the constant investment in them, making sure they had what they needed to do their job well, doing what I could to help them grow personally and professionally. They couldn't imagine leaving, and they didn't. And so if you want to foster a culture of innovation, right, invest in your team, because larger corporations can't do it as intimately and as focused as you'll be able to do it. And finally, number 7 is continuous improvement and adaptation. There's a theme here today, guys, right? So your small business has got to embrace a mindset of continuous improvement. So again, one of my axioms is constant and never-ending personal and professional improvement. Always looking for ways to be better and to do better. This is by learning and adapting to stay competitive in your business environment. This is monitoring the market trends, right? Seeing where things are going, soliciting customer feedback. I'm a huge fan of surveys. I'm a huge fan of interviewing my customers, finding out what they think, what they like, what they don't like. What we may perceive what they like may be very different what they like. And so staying abreast of industry developments, staying abreast of your customers' thoughts and ideas can only help you identify opportunities for growth, right? And improvements that you can completely and effectively do that much larger corporations just can't do. Okay, so this is part one of a 3-part series. We talked about the most common challenges facing entrepreneurs in today's business climate. Next week, we are going to deal with, we're going to be talking about resource constraints, and we're going to be talking about talent acquisition and retention, big one for small businesses. So make sure you don't miss that one. We're looking forward to following up then on part 3, which will be covering cash flow management and customer acquisition and retention. So again, a lot of great content coming your way here over the next few weeks. If you're an entrepreneur, my suggestion is to maybe go back, listen to it, highlight a few of the areas where you need to improve, you need to focus on, you need to start thinking about ahead of the marketplace. Where do you see some inefficiencies in your business? Is your business growing? Are your employees, are they engaged? Are they excited? Are they energetic? Or are they just kind of phoning it in, making a lot of mistakes, not really acting as a team, not as engaged as a team? Do they even know what the hell the vision is? They don't know why they do what they do. Do they have a job, or are they a part of a mission? These are some of the questions you need to ask yourself. And I got to tell you, sometimes you can't see it when you're in it. One of the things I like doing is going into people's businesses and actually doing an assessment, basically doing an evaluation and letting them know who's on, who's in, who's not, right? Where the inefficiencies are, what are some of the current struggles that they're dealing with. And right? How do you know? Because if you go to your business each and every day and you're excited and you can't wait to be there and it's growing, your revenue's growing, you're on point. If you're not, you're stuck, you're stagnant. And remember, growing people grow businesses. So it probably means you're stuck as well too. It's not a judgment. We've all been there. I go through it, been through it, probably go through it again some more. But sometimes you got to step back. You got to let other people help you, hold you accountable, and then help you then transpire and transform your business to what it is supposed to be. And that is serving lots of people, changing lives, and generating a lot of revenue for you and your family. And if you're not doing that, reach out to me, Dr. J at triplelife.com, Dr. J at triplelife.com. You can check me out at any of the social media platforms at Dr. J LaGuardia. If you message me, I get back to you. When you email me, I respond to you, because we're even though it's, I say this is a monologue, where I feel like we're having a dialogue. I hear you guys, I hear what you're saying, and I want to extend that conversation, have it further. And if you need to reach out personally, I will respond to you as soon as you get back. So, okay, guys, that's it for today's episode. Once again, appreciate, love you guys immensely. Can't thank you enough for joining me each and every week. And as I say, you be you, just be the best you. And I promise you will always empower your dreams, ignite your passion, and of course, accelerate your prosperity. Until next time, be well.